Hello everyone, you have come to Tata Comic Preview channel. Let read together. Have fun. Yao was strong enough to dominate the Red Lotus domain, but based on what Zhou could see previously, Yao was a cautious person. Without sufficient confidence, how could Yao come to provoke him again? Therefore, Zhou was also very cautious. If he could use the supreme mystic power, he would use it. He treated Yao like an enemy who had 8 birth charts. Yao grunted in pain as blood trickled out of the corner of his mouth down his face that was like tree bark. The loss of another birth chart caused him to be wary of the old man. He wanted to dismiss it as him being careless, but he had already fought this old man once in the Skywheel Rift Valley. However, the reality was the old man seemed to be much stronger than he had imagined. He could not figure it out, nor could he understand it. The old man only had 3 birth charts, but the old man's strength was even more domineering than those with 6 birth charts. It was unreasonable and illogical. Yao spat out another mouthful of blood. He had officially fallen and became a 3-chart thousand realms whirling cultivator. Yao lay on the ground. He did not need to lift his head to see the old man standing on the palace wall. Courage? Confidence? Yao chuckled. Over all these years, I've never been in such a sorry state like today. You're the first to cause this, and you'll be the last as well. You want to know where my courage comes from? I'll show you then. Then, Yao stroked the ground with one hand before he suddenly stood up like a zombie. Zhou shook his head and said disapprovingly, "You've never been in such a sorry state because you didn't meet before. Those who oppose me always end up in a sorry state. You're not the first, and you won't be the last. I don't care where your courage came from, you'll die today." Yao raised his head and looked at Zhou with eyes that brimmed with killing intent. His breathing quickened, and his chest heaved heavily up and down. After wiping the blood off his face, he said through gritted teeth, "Come on then." Whoosh. Yao pushed his hand out. A chain glowing with red light flew out like a dragon in the air. Wrapped in primal Y, it danced in the air and snaked up the palace wall. The formation on the wall instinctively tried to repel the chain, causing thunderous explosions to ring in the air. Just as the chain was about to reach Zhou, he waved his arm. An energy sword shot out of his palm immediately. Bang! Sparks flew as the thunderous collision of energies rang in the air. Bang! The red chain had just formed a web when it collided with Unnamed in Zhou's hand. Zhou nodded slightly in satisfaction. Unnamed had yet to disappoint him. The chain fell lifelessly to the ground. Huh? Yao was stunned by this. Clank! The chain fell loudly to the ground. Yao saw his chain had been neatly cut into 2. So, you have a flood-grade weapon. Yao did not seem surprised by this. There were no changes in Zhou's expression. What nonsense! I have more than one weapon. In fact, I have a pile of weapons. Yao looked at the broken chain on the ground. A desolate-grade weapon was destroyed just like that. In fact, he had a slight suspicion that the weapon in the old man's hands was even stronger than flood-grade weapons. The 2 opponents faced each other silently for a moment. In terms of cultivation, both of them seemed equal with 3 birth charts respectively. However, those who were watching were not sure who would come out on top. Even if Yao only had 3 birth charts now, as someone who had 5 birth charts, how could not have tricks up his sleeve? Did the old man really think he was so stupid so provoke him without any means at all? Zhou continued to look down at Yao from above. What other means do you have? Go on and use all of them. I'll accompany you until the end. Yao inhaled deeply as though he had made up his mind. Then, he lifted his head and said, "Then I'll let you see my true strength." In the next second, Yao left after images on the spot where he stood as he drew level with Zhou in the air. Zhou could sense the slight change in Yao's aura. Moreover, Yao's speed was slightly faster than flashing. Even if it was just a little, it seemed like Yao had become stronger. Swoosh! A strange light glinted in Yao's eyes, and his body radiated fighting spirit as he charged forward. Zhou moved his hand. A light shield that looked like curtains appeared in front of him immediately. Bang! Zhou flew backward from the huge force. At this moment, Yao appeared soundlessly behind Zhou. Diana Madra. A golden halo appeared on Zhou's body. Bang! Yao slashed at the golden halo with an energy sword until the Diana Madra shattered. Zhou used his grand technique and flashed away. Yao's voice rang in the air. Too slow. Yao appeared behind Zhou again and brandished the energy sword. To think Zhou's grand technique was a beat slower. The golden Buddha body. Bang! As Zhou attacked, he wondered how Yao achieved this. He took this opportunity to understand the combatability and strength of the Thousand Realms whirling. His grand technique had improved by a level, it was not just a simple rise of his cultivation base. Gold and black light flashed in the air from the golden and black Thousand Realms whirling avatars clashing in the sky. Zhou found this very strange. Was this the extent of his strength? Bang! After an hour of fierce fighting, the palace wall that spanned north to south had long been destroyed by the palm seals that fell from time to time. If the battle was not high up in the sky, the palace wall would have completely collapsed a long time ago. The members of the Evil Sky Pavilion, the palace experts, and the civil and military officials watched with stunned expressions on their faces. Li Yunzheng said worriedly, the Black Lotus cultivator has unleashed all his strength. I hope Grandmaster will be okay. Si Wuya said with a smile, don't worry. Look carefully. The Black Lotus cultivator's movement is vicious and fast. He's so fast that it's hard to even catch a glimpse of his shadow. However, haven't you noticed how your Grandmaster always managed to activate his golden Buddha body at the right time and block the attack with his own? Li Yunzheng asked curiously, their avatars are of the same height now. It's as you said, the Black Lotus cultivator can't beat Grandmaster. However, why is Grandmaster prolonging the fight? Continue to observe, Si Wuya said, we know too little about the Black Lotus domain. Only by knowing ourselves and our enemies will we be able to win 100 battles. Si Wuya said, we know too little about Black Lotus. Only by knowing ourselves and the enemy can we win 100 battles. The people who heard Si Wuya's words nodded in agreement. Those who are skilled are bold. Only those who have absolute strength would dare to fight in such a manner. It seems like Senior Lu is much stronger than we've imagined, Wang Yun said in a voice filled with admiration. Nia Qingyun stroked his chin and said, there's something I don't understand. If that's the case, why did Senior Lu use 9 leaves during his fight with Yizhen? There was nothing worth observing about Yizhen, after all, so there's no need for Senior Lu to drag the battle. At that time, if he had manifested his Thousand Realms whirling avatar, he could kill Yizhen in the time it takes to brew a pot of tea. Nevertheless, this is amazing, Xia Chengxiu said excitedly, this explains how he killed Yu Qinshu with just one palm strike. And a great general of the north. Boom. An explosion caught everyone's attention. Yao no longer flashed around in a frenzy. He had come to a stop and looked at Zhou, who had been constantly defending against his attacks. Do you think I'm unable to see what you're doing? Zhou's advances and retreats were measured. Every move he made was extremely appropriate and without flaws. How did Yao know? This time, it's your turn to be careless. Yao suddenly spread his arms. The 400-foot Black Lotus avatar appeared and spun in the air. Soon after, a spot of light appeared in the center and grew brighter and brighter. At the same time, the temperature within the radius of 1,000 meters began to drop sharply. The cultivators with low cultivation bases watching the battle nearby were instantly frozen into popsicles. Sharp icicles sprung up from the ground to midair. Zhou frowned slightly. It seemed like the earlier attacks were all a lead-up to this moment. Yao smiled. Cracking noises rang in the air. Absolute 0 degree. The Black Lotus released a terrifying cold energy, freezing all the energy and primal chi in the air and turning them into ice. Lu Zhou struck with his palm using the supreme mystic power. Boom. Lu Zhou easily cleared an area around him. He struck again with his palm. Boom. Lu Zhou cleared another area again. Upon seeing this, Yiyao said confidently, "It's useless, I prepared this especially for you." See Spirit Pearl? See Wuya's expression changed slightly. Teacher, what's a sea spirit pearl? According to the ancient books about sea beasts, a sea spirit pearl comes from the king of the sea beasts. The pearl is formed from the essence of the heavens, the earth, the sun, and the moon. Cultivators who have this in their possession can control the 4 seasons and boost their vitality energy, greatly increasing their combat strength. However, after using it, they would be greatly weakened for a period of time, see Wuya explained. Everyone was shocked when they heard this. Cultivators like to categorize weapons based on this sentence, heaven and earth are united, there was no difference between them when they were originally one. At the heaven grade, weapons will undergo qualitative changes. They might even be able to break the limit if the circumstances are right. One can wield them with cultivation methods from the schools of Confucianism, Buddhism, and Taoism, and unleash great power. For example, bows and arrows can produce energy arrows, sabers can produce saber rays. Desolate grade weapons see an increase in destructive power, defenses, and a stronger bond. Flood grade weapons are incredibly tough and have special skills. Some weapons are only useful when they've reached the flood grade. An example of this would be the confinement seal. Li Yunzheng asked, "So, does this mean that this is the special skill of the Sea Spirit Pearl? Is the Sea Spirit Pearl a flood grade weapon?" Si Wuya looked at the frost that kept spreading in the air and shook his head. Li Yunzheng exclaimed, "Don't tell me it's a universe grade weapon?" Si Wuya said, "Since ancient times, they've been called universe grade weapons. The universe refers to everything in creation. Logically speaking, universe-grade weapons should be superior to flood-grade weapons. However, such weapons are rarely seen in the cultivation world. Due to their rarity, not many know of them, and there has never been a fixed name for these weapons. After going through the ancient books in the Sky Martial Court, I found a list of specific weapons. However, instead of being labeled as universe-grade, they use the words constant fusion to describe it. The universe is both heaven and earth. The universe is time itself, and time is constant. They can be fused with one's body and into one's blood. There are 3 kinds of fusion. Si Wuya stopped speaking as he watched the rapidly spreading frost. On the other hand, an expression of embarrassment appeared on Li Yunzheng's face when he heard Si Wuya's words. He had always claimed to be well-read, but he realized now how ignorant he was. His teacher was like a monster. During his time in the Sky Martial Court, although Li Yunzheng was busy trying to solve the questions his teacher had given him, he had still taken time to visit his teacher rather frequently. He had seen his teacher reading and researching all day long, but he was usually focused on strange and obscure subjects. Will Grandmaster be okay? The energy in the Sea Spirit Pearl, which was nurtured in the sea, isn't infinite. If one doesn't have sufficient strength to use it, the energy in the pearl would be swiftly depleted. Don't worry. Crackle. The noises of things being frozen grew even louder at this moment. Si Wuya did not have time to continue explaining. He quickly shouted, "Everyone, retreat." No one questioned Si Wuya and instinctively obeyed him. All of them hurriedly retreated. The east side of the palace wall that was several meters long and wide had been frozen into an ice wall. At the same time, ice continued to form above the wall. This was the power of fusion. Everyone flew past the Supreme Heaven Palace toward the political announcement hall. Some royal guards who were standing near the Supreme Heaven Palace had already turned into ice sculptures. At this moment, Si Wuya grabbed Li Yunzheng and tossed the peacock plume out. Li Yunzheng cried out in surprise, "Teacher, you have a desolate grade weapon? It's not worth mentioning. It's a gift from your grandmaster." The peacock plume turned into a pair of wings, carrying Si Wuya and Li Yunzheng past the crowd. In just a blink of an eye, the duo arrived at the political announcement hall that was thousands of meters away. The others were not weak as well, and they arrived one after another. At this time, Li Yunzheng was looking at the wings on Si Wuya's back in shock. He stuttered, this. Si Wuya smiled. Although my weapon isn't as powerful as those of your eldest senior uncle and second senior uncle, I can rely on it to cross the endless ocean. An envious expression appeared on Li Yunzheng's face as he looked at Si Wuya's wings in awe. Meanwhile, Zhenghai and Shangrong, who had landed on either side of Si Wuya, looked at Si Wuya's wings and shook their heads slightly. They thought their seventh junior brother really did not have it easy. The peacock plume was not powerful and could only transform into a pair of wings. When faced with powerful fierce beasts, how could it compare to their sword and saber? In the sky. Seemingly stimulated by the spinning black lotus, the sea spirit pearl continued to release its power. The area within a radius of 1,000 meters was frozen still. Zhou used a little of his supreme mystic power to shatter the ice that had formed around him. Nevertheless, icicles kept forming and shot toward him from all directions. After a moment, he shifted his attention to the spinning black lotus. Yi Yao smiled smugly. He left after images in his wake as he flashed forward, holding an energy sword in his hand. Frozen projectiles shot toward Zhou from all directions in just a blink of an eye. In this area, I'm no different from a god. Zhou sensed the dangerous auras of the frozen projectiles heading his way. It was the first time he had felt this kind of danger. He confirmed that the unprecedented sense of danger he felt was brought by the glowing pearl in the center of the black lotus. His instincts told him that if he continued to be restrained in this area, things would be unfavorable. At that time, who knew if he would have to waste his deadly strike card? Enough, Zhou said in a thunderous voice. He was about to get serious. Following that, he silently recited the mantra from the heavenly writing. To maintain and manifest samadhi. Like light and shadow, permeating everywhere while staying still in samadhi. Zhou unleashed all of heavenly writing powers, using up half of his supreme mystic power. At the same time, a blue lotus bloomed under his feet. The blue lotus rapidly released waves of supreme mystic power in all directions. Each of its leaves contained fatal and terrifying power. Yi Yao, who had flashed to Zhou's side, thrust his deadly sword out. He had not time to think about this strange occurrence. Bang! The blue leaves broke Yi Yao's energy sword and pressed down on him. Bang! His unbroken hand was broken by the domineering power from the blue lotus before it landed on his chest. He was sent flying immediately. The supreme mystic power was too strong. In just an instant, the Black Thousand Realms whirling avatar disappeared into Yi Yao's body again. Before it disappeared, one could see that another one of his birth charts had dimmed. A miserable cry echoed through the heavens and earth. Ding! Destroyed a birth chart. Reward, 6,000 points. Yi Yao was greatly shocked. His mind was filled with questions. Why is Zhou so strong? When the blue lotus bloomed, he felt as though he was facing an expert with 8 birth charts. Zhou was not done. The heavenly writing power permeated the entire place. In just an instant, the frozen area within a radius of 1,000 meters was easily cleared by his wide-range technique. Fire control. The golden astrolabe began to spin before the third birth chart on the astrolabe shot out a beam of light that was shrouded in karmic fire. Bang! 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 4 consecutive strikes in all 4 directions. The karmic fire continued to burn, melting the frost in the area. A birth chart power with karmic fire? As Yi Yao flew back, his eyes widened when he saw this shocking scene. Now that his other arm was broken as well, it suddenly dawned on him how powerful his opponent was. There was one thought left in his mind at this moment: flee. Meanwhile, Zhou's avatar had moved, the astrolabe was aimed at Yi Yao. The feeling of being targeted caused Yi Yao to shudder. He momentarily forgot about the excruciating pain he felt as fear overtook him. Zhou stroked his beard and said, "Even with your 5 birth charts, you can hardly withstand a strike from me. Now, you only have 2 birth charts. How can you defeat me?" It doesn't make sense, it doesn't make sense, it doesn't make sense. Yao repeated these words over and over again. Although things have escalated to this stage, you still remain stubborn and insist on resisting. I'll destroy all of your birth charts. Let's see if you still dare to act arrogantly after this. Whoosh. The combination of the karmic fire and the supreme mystic power perfectly countered the sea spirit pearl. At the same time, the golden astrolabe shot out 4 beams of light shrouded with karmic fire. Bang. 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 All 4 shots accurately landed on Yao's chest. No. Ding. Destroyed 1 birth chart. Reward, 6,000 merit points. Zhou flashed directly above Yao. He shook his head as he looked at the blood-drenched Yao. You have 1 birth chart left. Yao was frightened. He was truly frightened at this moment. His eyes darted around, looking for ways to escape. All of a sudden, he began to say over and over again, "Save me, save me, save me." Zhou's heart skipped a beat as he surveyed his surroundings. Was there someone else? However, he did not see anyone within 1,000 meters. There were only the cultivators watching from afar. Yao lost his composure completely. He said frantically, "You can't kill me. You can't kill me. I'm from the Black Tower Council. I have the support of the council. They will surely avenge me if you kill me. Let me go. Let me go." The Blue Lotus had completely shattered his last hope of victory. "I want to see who can save you," Zhou said nonchalantly before he stomped on foot. Buzz. Yao hurriedly manifested his Thousand Realms whirling avatar. However, it was only 300 feet tall now. Zhou could sense Yao was about to self-destruct. Blue light appeared around his feet immediately as he shot toward Yao, not giving Yao a chance to act. Boom. Zhou stomped on the chest of the Thousand Realms whirling avatar at lightning speed. Yao began to violently cough up blood at this moment. The Thousand Realms whirling avatar shrank again and entered his body. Ding. Destroyed 1 birth chart. Reward, 6,000 merit points. Boom. Yao crashed against the crumbling palace wall, leaving a deep pit on it. Zhou gauged his supreme mystic power and discovered there was not much left. He was not bothered, there was no need to use the supreme mystic anymore for now. The cultivators watched the battle in awe. Those who were at the political announcement hall, especially the civil and military officials, were dumbstruck. Zhou landed next to Yao, who was riddled with injuries. Yao's eyes were bloodshot, and they shone with fear. He panted heavily as his breathing grew weaker and weaker. He had lost use of his arms and had depleted all his energy. How could his enemy, who only had 3 birth charts, remain unscathed? He finally realized the real difference between their strengths. Despair rose in his heart, and he stopped resisting. After staring at Yao for a moment, Zhou shook his head and said, "You've been beaten back to the 10-leaf stage, and I didn't even have to use my full strength." Yao's eyes widened before he struggled to say, I admit defeat." These words seemed to agitate Yao, causing blood to gush out of his mouth like a fountain. "Nevertheless, you'll die as well," Yao said as he used his broken shoulder point to the east of the capital before his head fell limply to the side. Ding. Killed a target. Reward, 8,000 merit points. Domain bonus, 2,000 points.